Donald Trump took to Twitter to take the president to task in wake of the attacks, tweeting the following, quote, "Look what is happening to our country. Under the weak leadership of Obama and people like crooked Hillary Clinton, we are a divided nation," end quote. Katie Pavlich, news editor, townhall.com, Fox News contributor. And Katie, good morning to you. Just look at the reactions from Trump and Clinton and President Obama. This is emerging quickly as a story about leadership. Who is hitting the right note on this, Katie?
Well, I think it's a good thing that President Obama is coming home early, considering this is the worst loss of law enforcement life since 9/11. But I think it's unfortunate that we're already seeing candidates going after each other when it's only been a couple of days since this tragedy happened. Obviously, in a situation like this, both sides of the argument are scared. A lot of communities are scared about what this situation means for the country. And we hope that people can come together and share the values, as Loretta Lynch stated last week, and uphold those values. But I think the question becomes, what type of values are we talking about here, and what values in this day and age can really bring Americans together to move forward after a tragedy like this?
Yeah, news events change quickly. It's difficult to say how these events shape an election in 4 months, but it could. Have you thought about that?
I absolutely think it could. I mean, you look at President Obama's legacy, which of course has been a huge part of the conversation with Hillary Clinton running for president and him endorsing her. And a lot of his legacy actually has to do with negative things like race relations in this country being at a low in terms of modern history. And people are concerned about it. As I already said, both sides of the argument here are concerned about what we're going to do moving forward, and racial tensions are high. And when it comes to the situation between law enforcement and communities, there are a lot of police officers, especially in the rank and file, who feel betrayed by President Obama and what he has done with his Justice Department to attack police officers over the course of his presidency. So I think that certainly will be something we talk about.
We're going to debate that in our next segment too. Meanwhile, protests are ongoing. A lot of picture now from Philadelphia, where Democrats will be in 2 weeks. What we don't know about the protests is how long they last, how big they grow, and how they're addressed by leadership, Katie.
Well, and I think, too, you know, it's been interesting to watch these types of protests over the course of the last few months, but also over the course of President Obama's presidency, in terms of we're now talking about the new Black Panther Party. There were a lot of attorneys early on in President Obama's presidency who warned about the violent tactics that the new Black Panther Party was planning on taking against white officers and whites in general. The Black Lives Matter movement, for example, also has been caught at rallies chanting things like "pigs in a blanket," "fry 'em like bacon," "what do we want, dead cops, when do we want it now?" And so looking at who is leading these protests, it'll be interesting to see how much leaders on both sides of the political aisle either embrace them or condemn them for the things that they're saying and the tactics that they're using.
Katie, thank you for your analysis today. Katie Pavlich there in Washington, D.C.